Hello everyone, and welcome to Fixing Disney Star Wars. This is episode 18 in our commentary series for the closure cut of the Rise of Skywalker. We're glad you're here. Thanks for joining us as we attempt to build a better episode 9. Don't forget, please subscribe and like our videos so that we can place higher in the YouTube algorithm. Also, please feel free to let us know what you like or did not like about Star Wars Episode 9. If you like our work, please consider joining our Subscribe Star. For those who don't know, Subscribe Star is a membership platform similar to Patreon, but respects a creator's freedom of speech and expression. In a time where people all around the world are being increasingly censored, it's important to us as a team that we support platforms that support basic human freedoms and basic human rights. On our Subscribe Star, you'll find all kinds of exclusive content like new videos, new commentary, VFX tests, animatics, and more. And all the funds raised via Subscribe Star go directly to funding our edits. If you're interested, the link is in the description below. And now, with the intro out of the way, let's get to the commentary. We start with the scene involving R2-D2 and C-3PO after Luke raises the X-Wing. Now, in the original cut of the film, this is where C-3PO introduces himself to R2-D2. In our edit, this scene is unnecessary because 3PO's memory has been wiped, but only for a specific amount of years, mainly those involving the sequel trilogy. Additionally, the whole notion of 3PO's memory being restored defeats the purpose of it being wiped in the first place. As we've said in earlier episodes of this commentary series, there's too many convenient saves of people. Chewie is dead, and then he comes back. 3PO's memory is wiped, but then he comes back. Ben is thrown off a cliff, and we expect he is dead, only to come back. There have to be stakes within these films, and sacrifices have to be made and committed to in order for them to have any weight within the context of the story. The quick cutscene involving D.O. here is also gone, as he serves no purpose in this film other than to sell toys. Not long afterwards, C-3PO informs the group that he is receiving a transmission from Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. Finn quickly determines that Rey is the one flying the ship. In the original cut, the film then cuts to a short sequence of Rey flying to Exegol, while Finn provides a voiceover, saying, "She's going to Exegol. She's showing us how to get there." Then Poe says, "Then we go together." All of this has been removed. Firstly, the film is once again telling us what's happening. It's not showing us. But secondly, Poe's remark isn't something that we see said in Lucas's Star Wars. Han, Luke, and Leia all had personality conflicts, and they weren't all buddy-buddy like this. Anakin, Kenobi, and Padme also didn't talk like this, and there was also plenty of personality conflict there as well. It's a Disneyfication of dialogue that isn't needed, and so it's been removed. This information then leads to a meeting among the Resistance, who begin to set out a plan of attack on Exegol. During the run-up to the meeting, Mary Brandybuck goes up to Chewie and says, "Come on, buddy, we need you." This is a weird bit of dialogue, because Chewie clearly knows the stakes. This is not his first rodeo. It's a weird exchange, and it also slows the pace of this sequence. If we look at the original trilogy, both Luke and Leia tell Han that they need him for the fight at the end of Episode 4, but they do so in their own way. And they also do it in Episode 5. The way this sentiment is handled here in Episode 9 simply doesn't match the tone of the previous trilogy. During the meeting sequence, Finn says, "As long as those Star Destroyers are on Exegol, we can hit them." We've removed the majority of the dialogue here so that Finn says, "We can hit them." This helps maintain the pace of the sequence. As we move along, a random character asks a ground team, and Finn responds with, "I have an idea for that." Now, this short sequence has been removed because it adds nothing to the scene, and Finn never expands upon what this idea is, so these end up becoming throwaway lines. Also, in the same sequence, Rose Tico says, "We think hitting the cannons might ignite the main reactors, but this doesn't occur much in the ensuing space battle, and it adds nothing to the plan that Poe and Finn propose." And at this point in the series, igniting the main reactors through either a shaft or an oscillator hit within these craft always set about an explosion in motion, so this is likely common knowledge to all personnel within the Resistance. Mary Brandybuck's line about needing to do a Holdo maneuver has also been removed, as is Finn's response about that now being a 1 in a million move. Nien Num's line here about not being enough people to take on the First Order has also been removed, as has Poe's lines about the First Order attempting to make the Resistance feel like they're not alone. It's a bit of a corny sequence, and it doesn't match in tone to any other encouraging speeches seen within the series. Snap Wexley's lines about Leia never giving up and the Resistance not being afraid have also been removed because it messes with the pacing of this takeoff sequence. Poe's line about what their mothers and fathers fought for and making a last stand have also been removed, again because these lines are corny and the montage sequence it plays over is unnecessary. Finn's lines about the First Order taking enough of the Resistance and taking the war to them have also been removed because, well, the war was already taken to the First Order once, on Ilum, at Starkiller Base. Does Finn not remember his own involvement in his own story? Or did the screenwriters just get so lazy that they couldn't remember what happened 2 films ago? After Rey's arrival on Exegol, we're treated to a number of in-cockpit shots of her flying, and these have been mostly removed because Rey isn't wearing a flight suit. X-Wings are really maneuverable craft, and pilots require a flight suit to keep them alive in certain situations while flying inside of these crafts. While Rey makes her journey down to the surface of the planet, one of the First Order officers can be heard saying she's on approach. This has been removed because no one knew Rey was going to Exegol. Rey didn't even know she was going to Exegol until Luke convinced her. How would the First Order know that Rey is flying Luke's X-Wing? Well, they wouldn't. Ren wouldn't have said anything because at this point in the film, he's returned to the light. So, it's another needless line where the film tells us what's going on instead of showing us. Maybe it was kept in because the filmmakers wanted us to assume that the First Order was expecting Rey's arrival. In the original cut of the film, Rey is seen taking a moment before exiting the X-Wing. We've removed this because Rey has shown herself to be impulsive in each film within the sequel trilogy. If Rey had had actual character development, this trait would have been subsided by this film, but it has not. In 7, Rey impulsively attacks Finn because he's wearing a jacket. She impulsively hits Ren with a lightsaber at the end of the episode. Rey impulsively attempts to pull a lightsaber from Snoke, and she impulsively attacks Luke while training on Octo in Episode 8. In Episode 9, Rey impulsively attacks Ren while having a vision of him, resulting in the injuring of BB-8. Rey also impulsively attacks Ren while on the Death Star wreckage. With this trait of this impulsiveness, why would now be the time for Rey to think things through? In the prequel trilogy, we saw Anakin learn from his impulsivity. But Rey is not. With this line of thinking, it makes no sense for Rey to take a moment here. Poe's line, where he says, "I know it's a rough ride, stay locked on Rey's course while en route to Exegol," has been removed because it hampers the pacing of the sequence. In the original film, after the Resistance arrives on Exegol, Poe makes a face of shock at the sheer number of Star Destroyers and then says, "Look at that fleet." This line's been removed because Poe's expression says it all, so there's no real need for dialogue here. Now, after the Resistance fleet is spotted, the First Order opens fire on them. During the barrage, in the original cut, we get a small scene where Poe yells, "Damn it." This has been removed because it interferes with the pacing of the scene. And right afterward, we're treated to another quick scene where Poe says, "Welcome to Exegol." This too has been removed because Poe is clearly worried about the size of the fleet that he sees upon arrival, but then he begins to wisecrack about it. There's no consistency to his character here, and so this line has been removed in order to ensure character consistency, and also to maintain the flow of the sequence. In the same sequence, Poe says, "Get to their altitude, they can't fire on us without hitting each other." This line's been removed because this is clearly observable to the audience. The Star Destroyers are everywhere. The idea of fratricide is obviously implied within the sequence, and so we don't need Poe to tell us this fact. Well, that'll do it for this episode in our Closure Cut commentary series. What do you like most about The Rise of Skywalker? What do you dislike? Let us know in the comments below. We try to respond to everyone we can, so please feel free to join the conversation or drop us a line at fixingdisneystarwars@yahoo.com. Until the next time, may the Force be with you.